Hello, this is Mad Cat, and the angry egalitarian who discusses this and that. I haven't said that in a long time. It's like 5:30 in the morning right now, so I'm kind of speaking a bit low. Roommate's still asleep. But I wanted to kind of discuss this as I thought about it. It's also still pretty cold. That's why I'm wearing the cap. I got this for Christmas. What do you think? I kind of like it. It has like these little knitting. It's not actually knitted, but it kind of looks like it is, so it's kind of cool. I also got a haircut, so it's also pretty chilly in here. So, anyways, hold on. Let me click onto the chat real quick. I am responding to MundaneMatt's video. He just about the criminal, and I enjoy watching MundaneMatt. I think for the most part, he gets to the heart of an issue. He really, raises up some interesting questions, and I don't always agree with him, but I enjoy watching him. Sometimes you do need to see someone who disagrees with you, but he has a very methodical approach to topics, and this is no exception. The thing is that we are talking about. Oh, well, first, should a man receive sexual reassignment surgery that's funded by the state if they're in prison? And my first response to it is no. No. I mean, they get to be sexually reassigned and then they get to go to a woman's prison. And, as bad as a woman's prison is, it's prison. It's, from what I'm told, it's far better of a place than a men's prison. And even so, being a man in a woman's prison, I'm not saying that it's going to be like all the porno I've ever seen, but I mean, it's the arguments we have, like, should the Olympics, should transgendered women, men who transition into women, be allowed to compete as women? Well, the problem that presents is that they have a superiority over their female athletes that were born female. That men have natural abilities as a result of being a man that women simply don't have. And this is why the majority of records in the Olympics are broken by men. There are some that were broken by women over other men, even, but those are kind of the exception to the rule. And that most often it's men who break all of the records. And so the advantage that men have going into the Olympics would, hey, I'm a female. Now I can compete in women's Olympics and get an easier win because the other female athletes couldn't catch up to the fact that I was born a man. So there's a certain level of privilege that comes that makes it kind of unfair to everyone else. And I think in this case, it's kind of the same way. Hold on, let me make sure my audio is working. Yeah, it's just low, so you have to turn up your audio. But now, MundaneMatt raises a very good point that because of the Constitution, we have to give adequate medical care to inmates. We have to make sure that their physical and mental health is on check. And according to MundaneMatt, that this individual has tried to remove their own genitals, that they have also tried to commit suicide a number of times. And it's like but the thing that I've often heard about sexual reassignment surgery, and we don't hear this very often because it's buried for obvious reasons, is that many people who get it end up committing suicide because they thought it was the thing that would solve all of their problems, and then the moment they get it, it doesn't. And that's why it's so important for the person getting sexual reassignment surgery, is to live their life as a woman to make sure this is something they really want. And they usually have to do it for a year. That I always hear a year, but I imagine that for some instances it might be longer. I don't know. Just to make sure this is something that they want. And even then, there are cases where the transgendered individual getting the full sexual reassignment surgery ends up being unhappy with it and commits suicide as a result because they put all of their eggs in the one basket as this being the solution to all of their problems, and it's not. So, I put that in the thought, and I'm like, well, this person's been in prison since 1980 after killing a man, um, and then robbing him and getting life in prison, and now wants sexual reassignment surgery. Well, obviously, there's a mental health issue here if they've tried to remove their genitals and if they've tried to commit suicide. They probably have been receiving mental health, but the way mental health is done these days, if I even went to a therapist and said, I think I'm a girl, they would say, okay, you're a girl now. But if I said I was a bunny rabbit, they might be like, yeah, you're not really a bunny rabbit, but let's go ahead and play with this psychosis so we can try to help you out of it. But if I say that I'm a girl, then it would be so easy for me to, get medical services for me for this. I wouldn't say that it's easy for me to get sexual reassignment surgery, but, it would probably be easy for me to get hormones, maybe to grow up my breasts. It's just so haphazardly done today. I don't think my chat's working here. Let me refresh. Or maybe it's just early in the morning. It's just basically the issue of transgenderism is a very serious one, and one that does need to be seriously talked about. Unfortunately, it's not, because too much emotions get in the way. Now, is it possible that someone has an actual medical reason, like an actual psychological, they must become a woman? Yeah, I think that's a possibility, however rare. I guess YouTube changed their live chat system, fuckers. It's possible that there is an actual legitimacy to this, that they need to get this done, and if they don't, they will die. And that I can support, but at the same time, they are basically going from a male prison to a female prison, having once been a man and probably having some sort of edge, but also for the fact that, this person has a lot of serious mental issues. I'm kind of like right dead set on the middle. I want to say no on the basis that they're getting basically a privilege. They're going to now get a special surgery that will cost the state a lot of money. And, every state is having, well, California at least is having financial problems. Hell, they're having a water shortage issue. They live next to a fucking ocean and they're having, droughts. I know it's not that easy, but you get the point. They should be focusing on this, and now they have to pay for sexual reassignment surgery. And California, God, California is like really wrong in the head. But, they now have set the standard that inmates can now apply for transgender surgery which to me seems like a perfect scam of saying, hey, I'm now, if I'm in prison, hey, I'm a woman, give me surgery so I can go to a woman's prison. And now California has to provide transgendered females with housed in men's facilities with nightgowns, scarves, and necklaces. Do you really want to give people who might be suicidal a scarf and a necklace? These are things you can use to hang yourself with. I mean, they often don't let inmates have shoelaces for much the same reason, especially if they're on suicide watch, and you give them something that they can kill themselves with? And a nightgown? Do women's prisons get nightgowns? I thought people just slept in like their prison outfit. I don't know. But nightgowns in prison? That seems like a luxury item. It seems like all you really need is the clothes on your backs, and that's it. But the surgery's already been done, and they're going to be transferred to a new prison. Look, helping a prisoner with their mental health and their physical health is important, and prisoners still deserve those basic human rights. I think sexual reassignment surgery is kind of like a luxury thing. And, if they're mentally unstable because they're a male, they're a female in a male's body, what's going to happen when they're a female in a female's body? Their problems aren't going to magically go away. And, maybe this person will do well. Maybe not. They're now going to be in a female prison. And female prison ain't no joke, but still, from what I hear, better than a male prison. So, and California's been dealing with this issue for a long time. I believe there was another case that kind of popped up, and they decided to parole someone a day before the judgment would come that would have allowed them to do it because California is afraid. By right, they should be. Look, I support transgenderism. I like Blair White. The other person whose name I have trouble with. I have a friend named Kat, who's transgendered. I have no problem with it. And people who want to do it and have the insurance to do it or have the money to do it, go for it. But it is a discussion worth having, right down the middle. Part of me says yes, part of me says no. And it begs the question if it's really medically necessary for this individual to have gotten sexual reassignment surgery. And, I mean, will their life be improved by having it? Not for being in a female prison. I imagine their life might be improved, but it very well could not be. I mean, women hear, hey, there's an inmate who's pretending to be a girl. Hey, let's go beat him up, I mean, I don't know how that's going to go down, but, the thing with this kind of procedure is their life going to be improved? Is it medically necessary? And you could say that because they're suicidal and that they've tried to do it and they've basically lived their life a long time as a woman, that from a mental standpoint, yes, it is. But I don't know. I don't know, because of the high rate of suicide amongst those who do get the surgery that I've read. I don't know if there's really any actual truth to that rate, but I have heard that a number of people have. it makes me think that this person has just been so focused on this one thing and has not had any other outlet because they're in prison, that they're just putting all their eggs in one basket, and this is not going to solve their problems, and they'll still likely try to commit suicide, especially if they have a scarf now. A scarf in prison, or a necklace. I mean, a nightgown I can sort of understand, but those items, you want to give someone who's suicidal items that they can use to kill themselves with? No, I'm sorry, you don't do that. You take away things that they could use to kill themselves with. I guess my official opinion is that if this is absolutely medically necessary, then I support it. But it would be hard pressed for you to convince me that it's absolutely medically necessary. And if the person is suicidal to begin with, then I'm kind of no. I don't think someone who's suicidal should be able to get this kind of surgery and have the state pay for it. Now, if there was some sort of charity or some organization that raised the money for them to pay for it, I might be more open to that a little bit more, but I think my official opinion is no, this is wrong. Because you're asking the taxpayer to pay for a criminal to get sexual reassignment surgery. You're asking the taxpayer to get someone who's suicidal to get sexual reassignment surgery as the hope that this solves all of their mental health problems. It doesn't even begin to solve their mental health problems. And that the only people who should be able to get reassignment surgery are those that have a somewhat stable life to begin with. And prison is not a stable life. And that if someone is suicidal to begin with, I would hope that a mental health professional doesn't allow them to get surgery. But that's just me, I guess. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree with me that if anyone wants to get it for whatever reason, they should be allowed to. And, dispense with the consequences. Who cares what the consequences are? If they want it, let them have it. Well, no, this is a very serious thing. And you can't just give this stuff out like candy because it will destroy people's lives. Anyways, that's my response. Thank you, MundaneMatt, for this great video that you did. I hope you see this. You brought up a lot of good points. It is something that does need to be discussed, but like I said, he's already suicidal. Most likely this is not going to solve his problems, and he's actually getting a benefit having transferred from a men's prison to a woman's prison. And neither are a stable environment for someone who's going through sexual reassignment surgery. So, congratulations to, what's her name? Let me get it real quick. Shiloh Heavenly Quinn? Heavenly. Seems like a weird name to give yourself. I'm Mad Cat, Idaho. I'm Mad Idaho Cat. That's just, I don't know. But thank you, MundaneMatt, for a great video. Please keep making them. And what's your opinion? Should we really pay for this? And try not to give an emotional response. I mean, well, I'm not going to discourage you, but try to have a more logical approach to this. And on the one hand, no, he's a criminal. He did a crime. He shouldn't get this benefit. But mental health-wise, he's emotionally unstable. And the state does have a responsibility to his emotional well-being. Is sexual reassignment surgery therefore the answer? I don't think it is, but I'm sure his therapists are saying that yes, it is. Oh, Sadochrist. I'm sorry, Sadochrist. I don't mean to laugh at you. He's like, finally, I get here during a live stream. Oh, it's finished. Yeah, this meant to only be a quick one, and I ended up taking, 20 minutes. Okay, I'm good with that. So anyways, that's going to do it for me today. Be sure to subscribe down below, hit the like button. Please respond to me. Tell me what you think of this issue. Should California now allow men in prison to get sexual reassignment surgery and go to a woman's prison? And whether or not someone who is suicidal should be allowed to get sexual reassignment surgery. I'm interested in what you have. This is an actual discussion we need to have, one without emotions in it. But, I can't stop people from having emotions, although that would be a great superpower. Think about it. The unemotional man. I can point the finger at you and you have no emotions whatsoever. I'd be the greatest superhero ever. So anyways, that's going to do it for me today. Check out my description box below. I've got my Patreon, trying to raise money for my mental health and also my physical health, given my disability. God, this guy can get, sexual reassignment surgery, and I can't even get help trying to deal with my disability. Know what I'm saying? Also, if you're not comfortable doing Patreon, consider buying my book. It's only $2.99. Well, it's 2 books. The second one is $2.99, but they go together. So, anyways, that's going to do it for me today. There are going to be new feminist episodes starting tomorrow. Also, we're going to start doing shows, me and Modern Medusa. So I will see you later this week. This is MundaneMatt signing out.